Welcome, all of you beautiful law school students. I'm Leslie Juvenecchier, the blogger at Law School for Visual Learners. And in this video today, I'm going to share with you some of my study strategies, how to keep going in your studying so that way you don't feel stressed, overwhelmed, worried, anxious about the progress that you're making throughout the year. Now, if you're watching this and you're in 1L, you got a psychological journey to endure. If you're in 2L, 3L, and in some schools 4L, you've probably gained by now your own routine, your own rhythm, and have figured out what works best for you. But if you haven't reached that point yet, don't have any fear. I'm here to give you some hot tips and to encourage you to see the best in what you're doing and to not give in to fear and to worry, but to put yourself on a path that you feel successful on. So one of the first things in 1L that happens is a student will try to do as much as they can. They'll try to study for hours and hours and hours. And not to mention you're going to classes, so you probably have 9 to 11-hour days. And that might not even include your commute if you live off campus or if you live in a school far away. For me, on the other hand, I go to a correspondence law school, so I have the ability to work on my own schedule. I can attend live classes if I choose to, or I can watch pre-recorded lectures, which gives me and other students who do correspondence school a lot of flexibility. But if you go to a traditional brick and mortar school, you're probably stuck with the schedule that they give you. And so you have to adjust your life, your career, your family life to meet the demands of law school. And of course, with the investment that you're making, you're probably paying beaucoup bucks, and you have to do that. But with that said, I want to give you a little bit of perspective on how to increase your retention, how to enjoy the studying process, and to eventually become a lawyer, make great grades, and pass the bar. So for me, as a former professor and who has taught executives all around the world, at least 10,000 people, I can say that there are some things about learning that can help you get there faster, to achieve more success and get to the point where you feel confident and comfortable with your own rhythm and routine. Now, this is not a one size fits all. This is me giving you tips to help you do what's best for you. So let's go with that. The first thing I can say is that don't try to do everything. Don't try to cram everything in. It's natural to want to have this desire to do as much as you can and to read as much as you can and to show everyone, your classmates, your professors, and yourself that you're putting in all the hours. But there is a diminishing utility margin where you put in a certain amount of hours and then that the utility of that time, what you get out, your output actually goes down. And you have to come to understand your own, apex point of when you've maximized on what you can learn and when you're actually not learning and retaining as much. So every day we have rhythms and routines, and we get hungry and we get sleepy. And that becomes a point of kind of knowing who you are and what you're capable of doing in a day. And for me, I'll give you my routine. I wake up at 6:30 in the morning, get my kids to school, and then I will study usually from 8 o'clock until 2 o'clock. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. So about 6 hours a day. In that 6 hours, I take a lot of breaks. I own my own business. I do other things. I talk to friends. I consult with people. So I mix in a little bit of variety into my studies. So it makes it interesting. So that's the first thing is I give myself a dedicated time each day. So I study about 6 hours Monday through Thursday. And then on Friday, I will study for 2 to 3 hours from 8 until 11, 11:30. And then I'll pick up my kids and then I will go to the barn and ride horses and just kind of let go of the stress of my week. So that alone gives me a sense of stability, routine, and a regimen. So that is the way that I've scheduled it. I have a lot of students that I've met go study at night because they have a full-time job during the day. So some of my classmates, they could be paralegals, they could be doctors, they could be professionals in any kind of field. So they'll work from 8 until 5, come home, eat, and then they'll study until 10, 11 o'clock at night. I don't know if that's sustainable. I know these people experience stress, but if that's all the time you have, that's the time you have, and you have to stay committed to that. So that leads me to number 2. After having a routine and regime, find time to de-stress in whatever way is fun for you. I am a lunatic, and so I want to do the hardest sport in the world, which is horseback riding. And I do that on the weekends, and it challenges me emotionally and psychologically. It's physically demanding. It's an intense sport. But it also, at the same time, I get to pet a 1,200-pound animal who's very intelligent. I get to hug them and groom them and, shovel their manure and do all these things outside of the cerebral work that is law school. And I get out of my house and I do that. Another thing could be doing fun things with your family. I have 2 small children, so we do family things. We go out and we do stuff. My daughter rides horses too, so I'll watch her. We do a lot of fun family things. Also, I own a home, and I like to be in the garden and get my hands dirty, build projects, do projects. I'll visit my friends. I'll help my friends. So find ways to channel your excess energy, stress, talk to friends, spend time with your family, have fun, enjoy your life. Because even though you're in law school and you're doing something very difficult, doesn't mean that you have to take your whole life seriously. Have fun, enjoy the process. So do the things that let you channel your energy, channel frustrations, and enjoy your life, because you are unique and you are wonderful. Enjoy who you are and everything that you love. So it could be going out and getting some ice cream, or doing fashion, or going a little bit shopping to a reasonable expense, painting, going to church and singing. That's something I like to do. Whatever it is that you like to do, channel that energy. The third thing is that, take the Pomodoro technique. I've written about this in my other business blog, but the Pomodoro technique is very simple. You set a clock or a stopwatch or some kind of timer, like a pomodoro, the Italian word for tomato, and you set the timer for 20 minutes and read nonstop. Just read, do your homework, type, whatever. And then when that buzzer buzzes and the time is up, then go walk around, get a snack, use the restroom, take a 15-minute nap, do something else, call a friend, scroll on Instagram, whatever that's going to just kind of let you recenter. You could even just think about what you learned, just relax a little bit and do that 20 minutes on, 15 minutes off, 20 minutes on, 15 minutes off, which is something that helped me when I was in high school, really great grades so I could get into college. So that's a technique that I definitely recommend. Now, the next technique is very simple. It's to just not force yourself to get it all. Sometimes for me, the only thing I could do is read 3 cases in a day, and that might take me 4 to 6 hours to just read 3 cases because I'm taking my time to do it right. If you've seen my other video about the 4-color briefing method, I take my time to do that. So I will read, color, highlight, and take my time to learn what is being presented in the case at hand. And you might not want to just read through and brief through. You definitely want to take your time to read the case, understand the logic. The dicta in a case is so important because it's giving you perspective of how the judge is analyzing, how the judge is looking at a situation, whether it's a policy consideration, whether if it's something for, just narrowing the scope of an element or expanding the scope of an element. Or looking at the facts, look at what the case is asking from you besides the rule, the rationale, and, the history. Look at a case on the bigger picture of what you're learning in the law that will help you create better analysis, that will help you to understand the body of law better. So take your time, learn those concepts in a time and sit on it for a day, and try not to force yourself to accomplish something. The next step is to take a look at your schedule. I have, thanks to my school, a calendar. So calendaring is very important. Lawyers have to calendar because they're putting everything in their calendar, showing up to court, depositions, all these different types of things. But the point of calendaring is to make sure you plan ahead. So our school has taught us to calendar. So all of our assignments have to be done within a certain period of time. But the positive about our school is that you don't have to turn them in at a certain date. You just have to make sure you submit them all before you request finals. So that's the nice thing about our school. But for me, I like to pace myself and do my assignments based on my calendar to kind of give me motivations to get it done by a certain time, and to challenge myself to learn what's being presented to me by a certain time. But it also gives me okay, well, I can study hardcore for 4 days and take 4 days off and think about what I learned while I'm enjoying my life and doing other things like working a business or doing a project at home or taking care of family or doing something else. So calendar, look at your schedule for the next 6 months and go, okay, well, what's going on? What is being expected of me? Now, if you go to a traditional brick and mortar school, you might have semesters where within a period of 3 to 4 months, you have to do X, Y, and Z. So maybe your marathon is actually in sprints. So think about what your calendar is offering for you and work around that. And be sure to give yourself, when you calendar, some time off. So for me, I have a month-long assignment of doing about 45 briefs, a little bit more, a little bit less. So to do 45 briefs, I have to read all the cases and then type them all up. And when I finish that, I am planning to take 3 days to go horseback riding and to hang out at the barn and just get sunshine and relax a little bit. So that's my reward for sticking to my schedule. But during this month, I've made sure to give myself a few days off so that way I can process everything I'm learning. I'm not just taking it in and spitting it back out onto a paper. I'm actually learning it, thinking about ways it can be applied in my life. And then I do my written assignment. So give yourself time to pace yourself so that way you feel like you're working towards a goal, but you're not doing so in such a way that burns you out. So those are my core tips. That's how it's helped me. I really think that if you take care of yourself, you pace yourself, you enjoy yourself, and to look at law school as an opportunity to improve your life, improve your psychology, your emotional intelligence, your technical and professional skills, but you're building and expanding on who you are, then it's not just, I have a ton of assignments to do and I just got to knock them out and get C's so I can pass. That's not what law school should be about. It's, I'm very passionate about education and encouraging you to get the most out of your education. It's about building character. It's about building a whole body of skills that you can take into your professional career as an attorney. So I definitely recommend looking at the bigger picture of your life. If you have any other questions and you have any other tips, I really recommend you share them. The one last thing I'm going to share with you is find a mentor, somebody who you could just get some perspective on. That really helped me in the first year. I found an amazing mentor and who's just become a friend now. And he's a former Supreme Court justice. And I just joke around with him and ask him questions about the law and his perspective on real-time issues that's going on in the news, and just kind of makes everything I've learned into a practical thing. And I'm talking to somebody who has a lot of experience, and I'm asking them, should I do this or should I not do this? And them giving me feedback so I can make my own decision. So I definitely recommend looking for a mentor, whether it's through your local bar association, through your professors, through a club, friends, family, through your church, through an organization that you're passionate about. Look for other attorneys, judges, legal professionals who can help you, guide you, see the best in you and say, hey, I'm recognizing this strength in you. I recommend going this track, or introducing you to people. It might not always work out, but at least you're putting yourself out there. And that's another thing about being an attorney is, you have to put yourself out there And sometimes you win and sometimes you lose, right? That's how every case goes. There's always a winner and there's always a loser. And that's okay, because you went and put yourself out there. You gave it your best. You did your due diligence, good faith, fair dealing. You put yourself out there, and that's a part of becoming the attorney that you want to be. So put that into perspective in the bigger picture, and don't be so hard on yourself, because you're a human being and you're doing your best, and that's okay, as long as you give it your all and you come with a sense of optimism and hope and a vision for your life, and to not worry about any minor failures or setbacks. Don't catastrophize. Really put things into a perspective where it's just day by day. Focus on day by day, week by week, month by month, and give yourself some goals to achieve. But don't be so hard on yourself. If you make mistakes, if you don't get it right away, get help. Do your best. Perfect practice makes perfect. But if you don't get it perfect the first try again. Find another way. Try a more perfect way. Be flexible and enjoy the process of law school, because it's going to help you in so many ways. Anyway, so those are my tips. I hope that these have helped you and encouraged you to give you the mindset that you need. And of course, if you like this blog, support the mission. It's my personal hobby and passion to help other law school students as I go through law school. And if you'd like to make a donation to support the blog, the newsletter, and the hosting and all the things, we'd welcome you to do that too at lawschoolforvisuallearners.com. Subscribe to this channel, click the notification bell, all the things that YouTubers require of you to ask for their support. Do those things if you can. Tell a friend, and come to the blog and see what we have to offer. Anyway, our point here at Law School for Visual Learners is to dispel the myth that learning the law is for the elite and for the super smart. It's just not true. Anyone can learn the law, and so can you. Thanks for joining me. I'm Leslie Juvenek here.